What's good, fight fans? Your Majesty speaking. So, Shakur Stevenson joins Inside the Ring with Max Kellerman, Shady, Coppinger to discuss his future. I have not watched this fight. This segment yet. I wanted to react to it live, give a genuine reaction. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Shakur
That boy sharp. The best in the sport right now.
Welcome back to Inside the Ring. Max, Gabe, Cop, Shady, and we are joined now by the best pure boxer on the planet Earth, Shakur Stevenson.
The one.
Champ.
Yo.
There he is.
Good, y'all?
Champ, let me ask you something real quick before we get started. If a dude is not married or engaged, does he really need 3 phones?
Max, what?
What could that third phone? If you're not married, you're not engaged. Why do you need 3 phones? 3? I can understand 2, but what's the third one?
Come on, Champ.
Because Shady's got 3 phones.
Good. I think he's got a lot going on, man.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen, Shakur, you're staying at 140 or you're going back to 135?
Whatever presents the best fight, whatever presents the most lucrative fight, that's where I'll be at.
Is there any has the Ring Magazine been in touch with you or anything like that where you would have to give up your 140 pound? Is there any kind of timeline where you have to make a choice? Because right now, I don't care who has what belts. You're the junior welterweight champion of the world. I know that because Tio was, because he beat the guy who unified all the belts, and now you beat him. You're the champ. Is there any communication about what your timeline is in terms of making a decision?
That's a great question by Max, especially seeing as though what just happened with the WBC and all of the the fees and fiasco stuff that happened with him not paying and having to vacate or being stripped or whatever, however they decide to classify it. But that's a great question from Max, being as though we just came off of that. So let's hear what Shakur says.
No, there's no communication going on. I think the WBO is just happy to have me as a champ. So I don't think there's no issue or anything going on right now.
Shakur, great performance.
I don't think he should be thinking though. I think he should put forth the effort to figure out what is going on. Just in case. Now, granted, you just won the belt. 9 times out of 10, I don't think Shakur was the mandatory for TO. So who knows what the mandatory landscape looks like for the WBO. So it is my suggestion, or if it was me, I would be trying to figure out what are my obligations or whatever the case may be, if I plan on keeping the belt. So let's see.
I knew you win that fight, but we got to be honest, dog. Did you know you win that fight like that? I've never seen T.O. been shut out like that. And then the night before the fight, I was with Devin Haney. He said, Shady, he's going to make it look so easy. I'm like, easy? And I'm watching the fight. I'm like, damn.
Cooked them.
Easy. So my question to you is, obviously you knew you win the fight, but did you know it would be that easy? Like T.O. would only win 1 round?
Yeah, I did. Honestly, I was thinking about it, when I go back and watch him, I was seeing a lot of the things that he was doing. And how I pictured the fight before the fight, it was going to be easy. I knew everything that he was going to do before he did it. I was ahead of him in every aspect of the ring. Everything played out the way it's supposed to play out.
I kept saying that leading up to the fight. I pointed out stuff like when Shakur had his YouTube thing going on and they were showing inside the camp and I was showing how alert he was. I was pointing those things out for a reason. I was pointing them out because I want you to see how cerebral he is as an individual in general, let alone a fighter. So if I could see a lot of the things that T.O. and them was doing, I know somebody like Shakur would have been able to pick apart that stuff. And as athletic as T.O. is, he's very, very repetitive. And against a fighter like Shakur, you can't be super repetitive like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to mix things up. So if you go look at the breakdown of how I said T.O. could beat Shakur, it had everything to do with being unpredictable. When you look at my breakdown on how Shakur would win, my breakdown was all he got to do is beat Shakur Stevenson. And I knew that he would go in there and pick T.O. apart. But I digress.
I know that without him, none of that would even be possible. But when it really come down to it, I kind of like just stayed focused. I kept my head down. I kept telling everybody how great I am, but nobody will believe me. So the opportunity came and I seized the moment. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Under them bright lights, none of these dudes gonna beat me. I don't care what happens. Under them bright lights, I step up, and the bigger the event, the bigger the occasion, I'm gonna be a lot better than any of these guys. So tell them all, line it up.
Listen, Shakur, from the beginning of your
See, this is why I fuck with Shakur. Because when you exude a level of confidence and you put the work in and you believe in what you're saying, plus a lot of these guys done been in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, and he kind of can gauge based on the sparring work where he is, whether it's with Keyshawn, whether it's with Devin, whether it's T.O., whether it was Jamil Herring. He already has a gauge of how good those guys are. And so 9 times out of 10, I used to do this a lot, right? I played basketball. A lot of times when I would just play at the gym or whatever the case may be, and I would play against people who I would play against in school, I wouldn't show everything that I could, but I would always collect data on what they were good at, whether they could dribble left, whether they couldn't dribble left, whether they could if they went left, if they would, pull up and take a jump, or if they most people, if they dribbling left, they will take a jump or dribbling left. But if you're right-handed, but then if you dribbling right, it's harder to turn your body to get those shots up. And so most times people dribbling right either going to pass the ball or they're going to try to go to the rim. It's certain little things like that, data that I would collect that I wouldn't even say nothing about, and I may not even have taken advantage of it in a open run or whatever the case may be. But when we got on that court and I knew your weaknesses, I knew that there was nothing you was going to be able to do with me. And I knew how to stop you. And I think that's how Shakur approaches these sparring sessions, where people nowadays, one of the things I hear about Shakur is he'll say, I don't like talking about sparring. Like, sparring is sparring. We all in there to work on certain things. And while you might be putting work in on me, but I'm specifically working on defense. I need you to bring it all. You should be whooping my ass if I'm working on specific things, or if I'm only supposed to jab, or I'm working on jabbing, or I'm only working on slipping, or you know what I'm saying, little stuff like that. I don't think Shakur uses sparring as the opportunity to beat your ass. I think he uses sparring as the opportunity to be able to take down the notes that he needs to take down. So when the time comes for him to have to whip your ass, he can. And I think that's exactly what he did to T.O.
Your career, I agree with you. My money would have been on you. I thought maybe you and Lomachenko would have been the best fight. Eventually, it didn't work out that way. But usually when the dust settles in an era, there are 2 guys left standing. I asked this of all fighters. I'm sure I've asked it of you before.
He say this shit all the time.
Even Floyd was like perfect, but there was Pacquiao. That was his biggest fight, right? Pernell Whitaker, there was Chavez. There's always a Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. Who's going to be your guy? I know that you are better than everyone else, right? But who is the guy you see and go, him? That's going to be, when the dust settles, he's going to be in the other
It would have been Tank, but.
What's sad? What's sad is the guy that you're looking for, that you're talking about.
It's Tank.
It's somebody that I came up with, and we kind of been helping each other for years. Me and Keyshawn Davis is the best boxers in the sport right now, if you ask me.
Be true.
I don't. It'll never happen, but honestly, like, if you're asking for the other guy, that's somebody. That's the guy.
Right? Is there
and
any?
It's bad that he said this because it's bad that he said this because now that you're saying this, people are going to press you out about fighting Keyshawn. because and it's going to look like a duck on both of y'all parts, because you're saying that he is the guy that if anybody can beat you, it is Keyshawn Davis. And Keyshawn is saying the same thing. If anybody, none of these motherfuckers can fuck with me, but if anybody could, it would be Shakur Stevenson. And so by saying this, I don't even know if he recognizes it, because Shakur does a lot of talking and get himself into trouble when he, say certain things. And this is going to be one of those things that people pull out and say, well, if you don't want to fight Keyshawn because you think Keyshawn the closest thing that could beat you, and it's going to be vice versa. Now, whether they care or not is something totally different. But he just stuck his foot in his mouth by saying this because it's going to make people, salivate for that fight even more now. So he probably shouldn't have said it. He probably should have said Devin or Tank or somebody. It's just my thought process, because now you've just put a major target on both of y'all backs to fight each other.
Amount of money that could ever get you two in the ring? Usually people have a number.
500.
You answered the question.
500.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shakur, great performance. Like I said before, man, the outfit was fire. What was that? What was that little outfit you had going on? What was that?
Who decides war?
Yeah. Okay, that was nice. I do want to ask you this though.
Shady funny and shit.
So after the fight, right? You owe me a lot of money, so I owe you a favor. I do owe you that. But we had the ring rankings, right? And I think they had you at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
pound for pound, yeah.
Pound for pound. How do you feel about that? Because I say with a performance like that, I had never seen another pound for pound dude shut out another elite fighter like that.
That's not true.
I thought you should have been one.
That's true, Shady. That's not true, Shady. Terrence Crawford has probably the best performance I've ever seen from two top pound for pound guys versus Errol Spence. I can't let you get this. Is why I question Shady. And I know Shady got a lot going on with the speakeasy and football, and now, moving into boxing. And boxing itself is hard to keep up with. So I know it's kind of hard to keep up with when you're dealing with a bunch of different sports. But Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence is probably the greatest performance, one-sided performance that I have seen from two top pound for pound guys. The way Bud, you know what? This is not about Bud. We can listen. Comment if you want to talk to me about how Bud whooped Earl. And I'm an Earl fan. I like Earl. But hey, the truth is the truth.
Yes, they thought differently. So what do you think about that ranking, though? Because I know people who love to argue about the pound for pound list.
Booking flights online
they
is
be
quick.
killing me with these commercials, bruh. Damn. Move. Damn. But anyway, I'm gonna finish this up. Once Shakur is over, I'm gonna end it. But damn.
Agree with you in a way, because I feel like I am the hardest guy to beat. But you still gotta pay respect to a guy like Usyk, who's came from heavyweight. Now I'm gonna just tell you the truth. He beat the guys twice.
Keep it a buck, Core.
That's supposed to be the guys and the best guys at heavyweight.
We're much bigger than him. Yeah.
Thank you. People get mad at me because I had Usyk in front of Terrence Crawford. But when you take into account what Usyk did, for those that don't know, the definition of pound for pound is if you were the same size as the heavyweight champion of the world, how do you fare? Usyk is the definition of pound for pound. So when people say, "Oh, Bud is first," bro, Usyk, not only was he undisputed at cruiserweight. He then moved up, beat Chaz Witherspoon, whooped Anthony Joshua not once, twice, beat Daniel Dubois not once, twice. After Daniel Dubois came off of his hot streak of whooping Anthony Joshua and whatever the case may be, he whooped him before that. Then he whooped him after his hot streak. Then he whooped Tyson Fury twice. If that is not the best fighter in the world, not to mention he got the skills of a middleweight, the footwork of a middleweight, and he tough. It is going to take a lot for me to put somebody over Usyk as a pound for pound best fighter in the world when Usyk did exactly what pound for pound is. Back to this bullshit.
I respect what he did. And anyway, he's a hell of a fighter. He got the accomplishments, but I honestly, if I was ranking it, I would say 2.
By the way, it's amazing how everyone sees this the same way, including Shakur. I agree with you, Shakur. My suspicion is you're actually the best fighter pound for pound in the world.
Easy.
But it's hard for me to say number 1 right now because of everything Usyk has accomplished, right?
Usyk, bro.
And so 2 or
Usyk.
3, I think people have to be okay with that, even if they suspect that you're one.
Then,
by the way,
to me, I don't even know when they started adding in accomplishments, and if you was undisputed, then you get. It was initially skill. There was a list. Then I hear people say, "Oh, you can't put heavyweights on the list." There was a pound for pound list in the 80s that had Larry Holmes on it. When did people start determining that you can't put heavyweights on the pound for pound? When did people start determining that it had to be all of these accolades and you had to be undisputed 17 times and 35,000 time champion? It was based on your skill set, your abilities. And they knew that a person that's 140 pounds would never be able to compete with a person that's 200 plus pounds. So that's where the idea of pound for pound came in at. But if you telling me that anybody is better than Usyk from a pound for pound level, it's going to be hard. They're going to have to move up 18 weight classes for me to say that you better than Usyk. Because even when I'm looking at it objectively and saying, okay, if Shakur was the same size as Usyk, will he beat Usyk? I don't know, bro. Usyk is like that. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. And I think Shakur is probably the most skilled fighter in the world, and it's still hard for me to tell you that he could whoop Usyk if they was the same height or same size, because Usyk is that skilled, and he a dog, and he punching. Like, man, listen.
Floyd Mayweather early on beat Genaro Hernandez for his first belt at 130. I told people on Friday Night Fights, this is 1998. Roy Jones won, Floyd Mayweather 2. And they said I was crazy. You can't say that after just one win and blah, 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 blah. But you see what you say.
My thing is how it looked.
I don't exactly.
How it looked, man.
I don't know. I would pick Shakur no matter who he fought at anyway, right? That tells you something.
I got a question for Shakur. Shakur, what do you think about Murataya, who just had a big win against
Oh, he's nice. He's good.
Murataya, for me in the division, is one of the guys that
he will cook Murataya. He will cook him bad, easy. It will look like Williams Zepeda, probably worse than Williams Zepeda or Oscar Valdez or one of them. He will cook him. Shakur will cook all of them dudes at 135, including O'Shaquie Foster, including him.
he just did his thing.
I think it was a great win. I'm not gonna take none away from the win, but I think it was a little overrated. Andy Cruz is an amateur. Like, he's a great fighter, but deep down, like, once he going on deep rounds, he's not mentally able to keep up with Murataya, because Murataya got experience with a professional standpoint. I think he took advantage of a guy who really was inexperienced. But it was a good fight.
Okay, so Shakur, Ring Magazine belt, which you have at 140 pounds, which is really the championship. That means you're the guy. Is vacant technically at 135, because when you beat Zepeda, they still had Tank Davis ranked 2. I think that should have been for the ring belt, but technically it wasn't. If you beat Murataya at 35, then you become the Ring Magazine champ at 35. And for my money, that's the fight I'd like to see you fight right now. I think he's your best.
I'm not mad at that fight. I just think Shakur with this TO fight put himself on another level. And I think fighting Raymond Morthalia is a step backwards, in my opinion. Just based on you just sold out Madison Square Garden. If it's me, I'm looking more so at Gary Antoine Russell. I'm looking more at Richardson Hitchens. I'm looking more at those type of guys. If I was Shakur, I would go back down and cook O'Shaquie Foster just for talking shit. Because to me, if you're going to talk shit, you're going to fight outside, you might as well get paid to do it. So if it's me, I would go back, cook O'Shaquie Foster. I would much rather see Shakur versus somebody like Lamont Roach or somebody in this 140-pound division. Like I said before, I think Shakur Stevenson going to 135 is doing himself a disservice because you saw how strong, you saw how much pop he had on his jab. To me, I believe Shakur is a 140-pound fighter. I think that's his best weight. I think that's what he'll perform the best at. But let's hear what Max was saying.
Contender. How interested, how can we get you to fight Murataya? That's what I want to know.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
When I tell you he would cook Murataya, they would start to say, "Oh, you're not fighting nobody again." You know what I'm saying? Like he will cook that dude. He will
bring it across the desk, and I'll say yes. Make sure the money is right. I'm down. I feel bad for y'all though, because it sounds like a good fight, but once you see the fight, you're gonna be like, "Oh my God!"
You're misunderstanding. You might shut him out. You might dominate him. But we got to see it, just like you got to see it. When you're making history, you got to actually go do it, even if we suspect that's true.
After you see it, you're going to be like, why did I want to watch this? This wasn't.
I agree.
This is not a competitive fight.
Like I said, for me, those smaller guys aren't going to be Shakur, man. It's going to take somebody who is bigger than him, who is rugged. Like you're not gonna go in there and just outthink him. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like Ryan Garcia, who's just trying to land one punch, you're not beating Shakur Stevenson. That's just the real. He's too good. His eyes are too well. He's too defensively responsible first, offense second. Those type of guys, you have to force them to think faster than they want to. Raymond Morthalia.
I mean, when Floyd was in his prime,
we'll cook him.
Angel Man, Freddie, this one and that one, none of Corrales, none of them could compete with him. But we still wanted to see him do it. We want to see him perform.
After that, T.O., I'm believing everything gonna look easy.
All right, great. But who do you want to see him fight with?
I do want to ask you this though,
Antoine Russell,
because Roy Jones kind of did it playing around with the weights, but I look like 35 and 40 for Shakur. That's kind of his weight, right? Is that something that you plan on doing? Just beating him on 35, beating him at 140? Is that something we can possibly see?
Can you go to 47?
Just keep going and doing that?
If the challenge sounds fun enough at 140, I'm definitely down. If the challenge sounds fun enough at 135, I'm down. So it's all about the excitement of it. And I'm a guy I'm excited getting ready for a fight. So
hey, Shakur, Ryan Garcia had some stuff to say about you.
He did.
I want to play this and then you react.
I really want to fight Shakur.
No, we need that Haney fight too, though.
No, I know. That's always going to be there, though. But that's who I want to fight. I want to go from Barrios to Shakur.
Straight to it.
Yeah.
What 47?
44.
You're making.
And see, this is what I don't like. Because I don't like fights where you can have built-in excuses. Look at Ryan's face. Look at his face. He hasn't even. I'm assuming that this is at some point this week because I know it is fight week. Ryan hasn't even been on the scale yet, and his face is already sunken in. And he's fighting at 147. 3 pounds may not sound like a lot, but to drop down 3 pounds and put yourself at a disadvantage when you already complained about being at a disadvantage versus Tank, I think is stupid. And then when Shakur cooks him, I'm not gonna want to hear no excuses, because my thing is, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You putting yourself in this same predicament as you did with Tank to go in there versus somebody like Shakur. And I know you probably thinking, oh, Shakur don't hit hard. Yeah, but you still got to make it 12 rounds. You still got to make sure you got enough stamina and enough energy to make it to 12 rounds, or he might stop you whether he hit hard or not, just off of the simple fact that you're going to be gassed out. I just don't like stuff like this. Like, just, if I'm Shakur, if I'm Ryan, I would much rather fight at 47 and take a rehydration clause than to lose all that weight. It's just pointless. And then Shakur, once again, I don't think he's a dummy. So after seeing you miss weight against Devin and come in heavy and seeing what you did to Devin, I don't think he's gonna take that fight if you come in overweight. That's just common sense.
44.
I'll make a whole division called 44. Me and Shakur.
44.
He said he'd do it.
No rehydration. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a huge fight too.
Yeah, and I know he's confident, so let's run it. I just love something about fighting so many people don't think I'm gonna beat. It's like that Devin Haney effect.
You won't whoop
it's
him.
Like,
Ryan.
you really think I'm not gonna beat this?
You're like a 9-1 underdog, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, with Shakur, they're gonna be all thinking he's gonna spank me, blah blah blah, all this shit.
Right.
And when I get in there and I start hitting him, it's gonna be a whole. Because I'm not one of those fighters that don't have a quick eye. He knows that my eye.
Bro, this is what Ryan fails to realize. And this is just me observing Ryan over the past 6-7 years. And Shakur. Ryan is a very, very impatient fighter. Ryan is going to try to get his shit off within the first 2 or 3 rounds to get you the fuck up out of there. Shakur, being the savant boxing brain that he is, he's going to be prepared for Ryan's left hook, which is the punch we all know that he's going to try to land. On top of that, he's a southpaw, so he's going to be able to use his lead hand to feel Ryan's lead hand to be able to determine when the hook is coming. You know how I know? We watched Tank do it. Once Ryan could not land that left hook, he went haywire. Go look at round 2 of Tank fight when he just went haywire. He's very impatient. An impatient fighter will never beat Shakur. Never. Never. Never.
It's quick. He like, I have that same eye twitch that Shakur has. I do. He knows it. We fought in the amateurs. I beat you. Don't even play around. You know I did. They robbed me.
This is the thing, though. Ryan doesn't have a quick eye twitch. He has quick hands. The issue for Ryan is Shakur is defensive first. He knows you. He knows what you want to do. He knows I know what you want to do. Everybody knows what you want to do. Ryan will lose for sure.
What do you think, Shakur at 44? What do you think?
I love the fight. I think that's perfect. I think it'll be a lot of excitement to that fight. It's a big money fight. Ryan Garcia is somebody that comes in there. You never know which version of him is going to show up. So
correct. If
the good version of him show up, he gets spanked. If the bad version of him show up, he gets spanked. Either way, he don't stand a chance. Like, he don't.
Sorry, you and I both know Shakur. Ryan Garcia is not making 144. You know, I mean, I don't see any way he makes it. And we didn't show it, but he said at the end of that question, that answer, he claims that he actually beat you in the amateurs, but he didn't get the decision because like one of your family members was the referee or the judge. What is he talking about?
No, that's not true. That's not true. His mother was the judge. I don't have no family in USA boxing, so he was lying.
Hey,
honestly,
Ryan is a character. I don't
understand
who mother was the judge or who aunt, whose sister was the judge or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But what I do know is Shakur Stevenson, like he said, cooks the good version of Ryan, torches the bad version of Ryan. Ryan is just not as good of a fighter as Shakur Stevenson, especially coming down and giving up that much weight. But I want to end it right there. This video is already 40 minutes long, and I'm gonna try to cut it up and maybe make a couple videos because it's way too long. But let me know what y'all think. Let me know how y'all feel about Shakur and where he should fight at, whether he should stay at 40, who y'all want to see him fight if he stays at 40, and vice versa with 35 if he goes back to 35, and who y'all want to see him fight. I'm gonna give mine first. If he goes to 35, I would much rather see him fight O'Shaquie Foster. O'Shaquie Foster's coming off a great win with Stevie Fulton Jr., who's a slick boxer, so it could make for an intriguing matchup, even though I feel like I know what the outcome will be. If he stays at 40, I would like to see him fight Gary Antoine Russell, and only because I believe that that is the person with the style and the attributes that could give him issues. I don't know if he can beat him, but I believe his style would give Shakur problems because of his height, not just the style. See, people hear style and like, oh, he fought that style with Williams Zepeda. Yeah, but Williams Zepeda didn't have the height. He didn't have the physical attributes. So that's why I believe the Gary Antoine Russell fight versus Shakur is probably the best fight. I also wouldn't mind seeing him versus Lamont Roach. I love seeing Lamont Roach get his opportunities. I feel like he's been robbed the last 2 times that he fought. I thought he beat Tank with or without the knockdown, and I also thought he beat Pitbull Cruz. I do see how people would have said, I can see the draw because he let off the gas or whatever the case may be. And if he goes to 47, I for sure would love to see him fight Ryan. I would want to see him fight Ryan at the full weight, you know, more so than the catch weight, because I honestly don't think he'll get the credit that he deserves if he fights Ryan at a catch weight. So if you have not hit the sub button, please do so. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I drop future videos. Also, if you have not followed my social medias, please do so. They are in front of you. And until next time.